All right, what is up, sports fans? We are back for another episode of the Brotherly Love podcast. Obviously, not lined up with Luther this afternoon. Going to be doing a little Eagles versus Cardinals week 17 talk. Obviously, last 2 weeks of the season, we're down to it. Obviously, we a lot of the teams know where they're staying. Gentleman to my right, is a big Cardinals fan. He's actually going to be at the game uh, uh, when this airs tomorrow morning. I guess just give a little quick intro. Who you are, how you became a Cardinals fan, and what made you decide to travel across to Lincoln Financial Field tomorrow.
What's up, football fans? I'm Robert Friedman. I live in Phoenix, and I've been a Cardinal fan since 1993. That's when I got into sports as a kid. And my dad took me to my first Cardinal game, which was a preseason game, and I got hooked on football then. And what made me go to Philly is a friend, and I'm trying to cross up all NFL teams off my list. That's why I'm in Philadelphia. And a friend of mine that lives outside of Philly invited me to tomorrow's game. I'm like, I can't turn that down.
All right. Well, so you said 93 you became a Cardinals fan. Who was the guy or couple players that you really watched on the first few?
I remember my first Cardinal jersey I had as a kid was like a Steve Berline jersey. That was my first ever Cardinal jersey.
Yeah, that's a rough start, ain't it?
It was a rough start though, but then they went to the
playoffs. From Steve Berline to who do you say is the best? I mean, it has to be Warner, right?
Oh yeah, but I'd say the best ever Cardinal player will be Larry Fitzgerald.
I was just talking quarterback in general at that point.
Oh, for quarterback, I
you're starting off with Steve Berline, and then you go to Kurt Warner. I think that's kind of the guy right there.
Yeah, Kurt Warner was like a player coach. That guy had a presence on the field.
It's that was a special team, especially when you beat us in 2009. You freaking.
Yeah, but then we lost to the Steelers in that Super Bowl. So I'm still heartbroken from that game.
Yeah, your stadium brings us lots of horrors. That's all I gotta say.
No, but you guys did beat us in your last game against the Cardinals last season.
See, everyone was talking about the stadium after the Super Bowl. I was like, why is no one talking about the fact that Jonathan Gannon was not there, both mentally, physically, whatever, to the point where we even wind up getting draft picks out of you guys because of it. I'm like, wait, we're not going to talk about the field. We're not going to talk about the penalty. The fact that we got draft picks because of you tampered with our guy before the Super Bowl, I think is more of a reason for any Eagles fan to gripe about that over anything that happened on the field or anything else.
You'll be getting a lot of boos tomorrow. Expect that tomorrow. Unfortunately, again, he'll get booed tomorrow by you guys.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be. He's not getting a well welcome. I mean, granted, I remember what was it? Right before the NFC title game, he did an interview. I'm not sure if it was like with the local news or with the sports news. He was going to the stadium. It was a soundbite for the next 2 weeks until they lost the game. But I mean, what do you feel? How do you feel that Jonathan's doing down there in the first season? Obviously, you guys didn't have big expectations coming in. Obviously, knowing Kyler was gonna miss more than the first handful of games, things of that nature. How do you guys feel like he's doing in his first year?
I like him as a coach so far. He's improved the culture of the team. And he's not a pushover or coach bro like Kingsbury. He's a big upgrade over Kingsbury. And he's a family man, very low key. I like that he's into football.
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely feel there's some type of drop off this year with the coaching staff. I would have to say that's, if you really ask me, I would think it's one of the bigger things that you could point the finger at about the difference between this Eagles team this year and the Eagles team last year. Like, everyone was like, oh, you lost Hargrave, you lost TJ Edwards, you lost Kazir White, this, that, and you lost CJ Gardner Johnson. I'm like, yeah, but then you go and draft Jalen Carter, which kind of nullifies losing Hargrave, right?
Carter's done really well for you guys. I was hoping the Cardinals would have gotten him, but you guys got him though.
Yeah, the San Francisco. He's out in San Francisco right now on a
Well,
big
with Jalen
contract.
Carter, I wanted him on the Cardinals, but you guys got him.
Yeah.
But
we got him initially when he left Pittsburgh, and we got him on like a 3-year deal that was like about $10 million, and then he outplayed that contract the 3 years he was here, and that's why he just got that big contract from San Francisco.
Yeah, Boo Niners are one of my team's rivals, and they're really tough.
What do you feel about that team? I mean, I know they came in here and kicked us in the teeth a few weeks ago. Do you feel that team's significantly better than they were last year, or did
really? Yeah, they're still really tough.
Did Baltimore kind of not to pull Joey Bosa after the Eagles game? Did the Baltimore Ravens just write the blueprint for how to beat the 49ers?
The Ravens have been on a tear since October. They've been dangerous. They whooped my team too.
I think that defense has that a little bit of that Ray Lewis and Ed Reed defense. It's more about them. It's not even that they're not as nasty. They're just played out. You can't compare this defense to that defense just because the way the NFL is today, right? But yeah, and then what I say is, I think what makes them special is that ball hawking ability. That what they did to Purdy last week with getting him what was it, 4 interceptions, 5 interceptions? I'm thinking it was 5 between him and the backup after everything was said and done. But I think that the turnover thing is a big thing, and that wins football games. 7 days a week and twice on fucking Sundays, man. Right?
Yeah, and the Ravens, I think, have the best chance to win the Super Bowl realistically.
I agree with that. I kind of felt that early on. I felt that
Harbaugh's experience still like Harbaugh.
I felt like Kansas City was falling into an old Andy Reid habit, and they have, if you ask me. I mean, I sat here and watched 10 years of Donovan and Andy. I watched it, and it's starting to look eerily similar to what I've seen over 2 of the last 3 years with the Kansas City Chiefs. So, I mean, they're still a professional team. We'll see what happens when it comes to the playoffs. But I agree. If you're pointing a gun at me right now and sitting there saying, I would probably say I would agree that the Baltimore Ravens are easily the favorite in the AFC to represent the AFC in the Super Bowl this season. But now here the question is, though, I know it's your rival and you're not going to want to throw it out there, but do you think the 49ers are the team? Do you think it is that team is gonna that matchup is what we're going to see again?
It could happen though. They're really tough, especially with McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel. They're a dangerous team to see out there. They whooped us twice.
They kicked
McCaffrey's released here at 9. That guy owns us ever since he was a Panther. He's the Niner that I dread the most.
So do you think you think San Francisco is the best team in the NFC right now?
They have the best roster. They're stacked. And they made a good trade to get Chase Young from the Commanders. They're really good.
Now that being said, obviously we're here to talk Eagles Cardinals. Obviously, you guys are coming back into our backyard here, so to speak, and Lincoln Financial Field. You're gonna be enjoying it again. I told you, make sure you hit that 4th and John tailgate. They always have it popping over there. I promise. It's always fun.
I just following where my friend is taking me to for tailgates tomorrow. She's a season ticket for the Eagles, so she knows more about that than I do.
Gotcha. All right, so how you feeling about this game, man? I mean, obviously, let's break it down. You know, I'll break down my quarterback. You break down yours, and we'll go through this, right? Uh, I think a lot of people are really hard on Jalen right now. I think you know, despite having, I think he's gonna have almost 4,000 yards and two different receivers over 1,000 yards receiving, but he's somehow regressed this season. I don't think that's the issue. Um, I do again. You know, I'm gonna go back and beat the coach drum. Uh, Not even that. More so, I'm gonna beat the drum is when you bring in a guy that is someone like Brian Johnson and where he's like Jalen's buddy. After you had a guy like Stitching in there, who is a guy that kind of is is a guy who pushes guys, holds them accountable, compared to a guy who's his buddy. You know, when Jalen said last week he don't feel like everyone's you know putting in all the effort is really all there. I don't think he was talking about players. I think he was talking about coaches, but that's just my personal take on it. You know, I don't think he would call out one of his teammates like that through the media. I think that's something he would do to someone above that. But I still think when you look at it, he still has a great ability to make ridiculous throws at ridiculous times where he has no business making them. He had a few last week. He had a few even in some of those bad games during that 3-loss stretch that we had. He just has ways to do things, but he also find ways to just do some bad, for whatever reason, just bad football IQ things. His overall grade right now is just a B minus. It probably should be a C, honestly, but you cannot not take away, you know, yardage and the production that he has, and the fact that, you know, you're in a position where you could very well win your division this week and be the 2 seed. So how you feeling on your quarterback? How you feeling on the
He's
carousel
still a little bit
that's
rusty,
in
Bill,
your
but
position? Obviously, start off the season with Josh Dobbs and been going through a few different things here.
I
How
think
you
Kyler has
feeling
the
this way got
potential
at it?
still. I think we need to build around him more next offseason, though, and he'll be even more prepared next season when he has a full offseason to practice and stuff. It needs a better receiver, too, because I don't think Hollywood Brown's the real deal since he gets hurt every year.
Yeah, but see, here's the other thing about that. You know, we say they need weapons. They obviously he needs weapons, but you also need guys up front, man.
Yeah, I like Paris Johnson. That was a good draft pick by us. So we need to get some offensive line in the draft and free agency, too.
Yeah, it's something we're gonna address. But how are you feeling on that? What are you giving them? You giving them a C,
I give
D?
him a C or B, low B, yeah. C, yeah.
I mean, with all things considered, it could be worse, right?
Yeah, I think he's still learning a new system, too, because he's with Drew Petzing instead of Cliff Kingsbury.
All right, I started off the quarterbacks. You start off for your teams for the running backs. How are you feeling?
James Conner's a stud. That guy should be a Pro Bowl. That guy's a workhorse. And I also like our backup running back, too. D. McCardle's really good, too, as an undrafted free agent.
Production wise, talent wise, what
I want to
grade
go
you
more
giving
in
your
depth to
boys?
sum it up, not to keep you guys waiting all night. Our best offensive weapons are James Conner and then Trey McBride, our tight end.
So I'm going to go, obviously, when I'm going to talk about our running backs. I mean, Agent Zero, DeAndre Swift is incredible when you give him the ball more than 15 times a game. It's a really simple recipe. I mean, look what happened last week. Hey, he touched the ball more than 15 times on the ground. Hey, he almost had 100 yards and he hit the end zone once. Probably should have been twice, but that callback was ridiculous.
But at least you guys did beat the Giants. That was a good game at the end.
Now, here's my thing about that. The second, like
The
you
first,
just brought
the
that up.
first, the other
You
two
made it
games were.
close at the end. We made some bad mistakes, and some of it weren't even really like. It wasn't even like things that happen on a regular basis, like on the kickoff, right? Where Ozzy gets thrown into to Boston Scott. There's a fumble, and they wind up the Giants wind up recovering the second half kickoff on the 11-yard line. How many times a season does that happen?
Not many.
Mostly never. That's probably you see that every maybe once in a handful of seasons. That just rarely happens. And then we go back to the pick six. Well, you watch the play, you can clearly see right before Jalen throws it, Dallas Goedert slips and falls down, and there's no one out there but a white jersey, and it's not an Eagles white jersey. By the way, they did fine Jalen Hurts $13,000 for the tackle on that horse collar. Yeah, they got him for a horse collar.
And then your defense, though, our best defense is Buda Baker, though. I don't know if he'll still be a Cardinal if we'll trade him.
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
He was in talks to be coming here, when things weren't looking like he wasn't going to get the contract he wanted. I don't know, man. I don't know if you guys bring him back. I don't know if he winds up here, winds up somewhere else, but
he's a future Hall of Famer. He's an amazing player.
Yeah, then when we get to the position plays, you look at wide receiver. I mean, obviously, again, that's something where the Eagles kind of walk away with it. When you have AJ Brown, he's second in the league in receiving yards. He just broke 101 receptions. That was the first time an Eagles wide receiver broke that. And then, where do you feel your boys are at? I feel like our wide receiver core is probably like I'll give a B minus. I mean,
our wide receivers like a C or B.
Bad times.
I'd give our receiver a C because we don't have like really good inconsistent. We have inconsistent receivers though. And our best receiver is Trey McBride, who you'll see tomorrow at tight end.
And that's where I'm going to get into it. Here we go with Dallas Goedert and Grant Alsakawa made some two big, really nice catches the last few weeks. Had some. I was telling you one of those ridiculous plays that Jalen made on the Christmas Day game. Was coming back the other way, and Grant makes a catch, winds up getting 11-yard gain for a first down on a play that. You just hope that Jalen would be able to get rid of the ball or something like that. So then we're going to be talking about your tight ends here. So this is one of your few weapons you feel like you guys got on your team, right?
Yeah, he's the one you'd be most excited about seeing for the Cardinals. It'd be Trey McBride.
Now, how do you feel like You think him and Kyler need to get clicking early against this Eagles linebacker core?
Yeah, him. We need to use him
in order to get you guys
to get our offense going. We need to use our running backs a lot, like DeMarco and James Conner and Trey McBride.
Now,
and Greg George too.
Yep. Right here, we're gonna get.
And we have your former Eagle too, Zach.
We'll start breaking down the defense a little bit in a second, but obviously,
and you get to see Zach Pascal too, your former Eagle tomorrow.
Yeah, Zach. Listen, man, Zach's a good number 3, man. People don't understand the subtleties of Zach Pascal's game, especially when not getting called for that illegal contact, that rub play. He's like the king at that, man. To get it in a way enough, but not in a way where he gets called for it, it's great. There was a few, I think like 3 or 4 times, I think. You know what I'm talking about when you're doing that dig play on the inside, and basically the guy on the skinny side of the route is supposed to just come across and knock the guy out, but you can't. And there was just a couple times where he would get in the way just enough and just turn sideways just enough so he wouldn't touch him, but the cornerback would fall down. He didn't touch him. So you can't call. They initially would call flag, be like he didn't touch him though. So you have to pick the flag up.
Yeah.
And there was like 3 or 4 times that he did that last year where it was just. I mean, not saying he didn't get called for it because he did get called for it, but there was like 3 or 4 times where you see like he probably should have, but because there was no contact, they couldn't call the penalty. So Zach Bass was a special one. But offensive line, man, literally, when we talk of Philadelphia, it starts with Jason Kelsey. It goes right to Lane Johnson. Those 2 are first ballot Hall of Famers.
Yeah, Zara.
And then you got 2 other All Pros when you get where the Eagles wind up getting a gem in Jordan Mailata in the 7th round. And you got Landon Dickerson, and you also get lucky and get Cam Jurgensen, who can basically is a utility knife right now, is playing either side, playing center, everything. So how do you feel about that line over there in Arizona?
It has some work it needs to do via draft and free agency, but I like our future I like DJ Humphries in our center. That he's done okay. And our Paris Johnson's done well too.
Like I said, it's hard to get lucky at offensive line and draft guys that Philly's been able to draft over the last.
But Paris has done okay for the Cardinals, who we got in the first round.
Now we're gonna go on the other side and hit that defensive line. Philadelphia's got a little bit of fun there where you
have my former Cardinal. You have Hassan Reddick.
I don't know how y'all let him get out of that building, but here he is again. He's on season number 4, 10 sacks. You just cannot.
But I'm happy for him though. I liked him as a player.
We got Hassan Reddick. We got Josh Sweat. Obviously, we got to talk about Fletch. You got the Georgia Bulldogs in there with Jordan Davis and what looks like is going to be the defensive rookie of the year and Jalen Carter. We don't know that. It's still a little early to tell. I still don't think he quite has the numbers yet, but I don't know if there's any other one else on defense that really does. I think that fumble return for a touchdown in Dallas might have sealed it. I don't know. You feel like Jalen Carter is going to be the person that walks away with the defensive rookie of the year?
I think so too. But Cardinals let him go. We should have gotten him in the draft, but we went for offensive line instead. Drafts are crapshoots, my friend.
The draft is a crapshoot sometimes, but here's the thing: a lot of people basically said Jalen was non-go. No one wanted to touch him. Sometimes you just those experts and things. People were like, listen, you got to do your own homework when it comes to that. But I still feel like we're not getting the sacks this year, but I still think they're getting good pass rushing, getting there. They have to stay a little bit more disciplined in some of the stuff, not letting the pocket get crazy and letting the quarterback step it up and get into the next level. How are you feeling about your defensive line over there, brother?
It has some work it needs to do via draft and free agency, but I like our future with Cam Thomas.
Now linebackers, listen, we are using Band-Aids. We're using everything to kind of hold things together right now. Obviously, I think the Nakobe Dean project didn't work. You obviously don't fill the hole with TJ Edwards or Kazir White leaving. And you bring in
TJ White. He's done for the season.
Nicholas Morrow. You bring in a Zach Cunningham. You just bring in a Shaq Leonard and things of that nature. So it's a work in progress. C- at the best is what I'm going to give this linebacker core. Howie Roseman did not invest any money into it. He has not invested any money into the linebacker. I said we talk a little bit about the future. The fact that Jeremiah Trotter Jr. is out there in the draft from Clemson. And if he's in any position for Howie Roseman to go get, he better find a way to go get him. I mean, not only do you need to fill that hole, but Daddy played here. I mean, come on, Daddy was drafted here. You got to make that thing happen. We'll see. We'll see how it plays out. It's something I feel the Eagles need to address. How you feeling about your linebacker core over there?
I want to do everything, finalize everything before I go shortly. We just have a lot of work to do between now and next year's season. That's all I have to say. Via draft and free agency, we're going to get top 2 draft pick.
To get it moving a little bit more quickly, guy cornerbacks, like we're just gonna go whole secondary altogether.
We'll see what happens at Buda Baker, but our cornerbacks are weakest position on defense.
I think obviously banged up, Slay's out. Bradbury's been hurt. I like what the kids Eli Ricks and Kaylee Ringo have done the last few weeks. We'll see what happens in the future with that. Obviously we got a Pro Bowler there in Reed Blankenship. He has the number 1 votes for his position at the safety position. So that's another win for Howie Roseman, if you ask me. Special teams, I think the Eagles got that. Jake Elliott is probably the most underrated kicker in football because there's that guy down there in Baltimore. I don't know what his name is.
We have a good kicker too. Prater's good too for us. He's hit some long field goals for us.
Yeah, I mean, but I think what it is I think Elliott's been almost automatic since he got here in Philly in 17. From anything from 45 or more, he's been almost automatic. I think he's missed 1 field goal since 17 of that yardage. It's insane. But the other thing is Britton Covey's arguably the number 2 guy for kick return. So
we'll see what happens tomorrow.
We'll see what happens. I mean, he had a big one last week against the Giants. That's the Giants we're talking about. I'm not sitting there saying anything about that, but you gotta look out for Britton Covey. Total score for this one, I feel like it's not gonna be a blowout. I really don't. I mean, I was there for the Thanksgiving Day game massacre, right? Early in 09, the Thanksgiving Day game, we what did we put up, like 60 points on you guys that game?
Yeah, it was an awful game. We'll forget that game.
I don't think it's gonna be anything like that, man. I don't think you're gonna see an offensive explosion.
It was awful too.
I do think the Eagles will score more than 31 points. I do think they score more than 31. I think it'll be like a 31 a 38 to 21 type of game. I think that's where I feel it. It might be closer than that. I know a lot of people are down on this team right now, but that's actually why I think that, if you take those 2 turnovers away, that's a 31-10 win against the Giants last week. 2 fluke turnovers. So,
and we'll see what happens tomorrow. Yep.
What do you feel like? What do you feel like you're going to be looking at when you walk out of that stadium tomorrow afternoon?
I just will be happy. I just hope it's a good game. We'll see what happens. It's hard to think about what's going to happen tomorrow. Anything can happen any given Sunday.
Exactly. Any given Sunday is right, my friend. Before I let you go, like, what do you feel like? What are you going to look for experience-wise when you go down there to check out the link, check out the tailgate? What do you look to get away from? I'm
forward to crossing another stadium up my list and seeing what the Eagle fans are like at their home stadium instead of at my stadium in State Farm Stadium. So I'll look forward to see what they're like in Philly.
Again, I know you're down there with your peeps. I'm going to tell you to go make it a point to go seek out the 4th and John tailgate. Go find Gale. Go find E-Rock and them guys. Just don't do a whole lot of drunk. You see the drunks, just keep walking. That's all.
I just try to smile and be friendly. That's all I'll be. Yep.
For the most part, most of us are, dude. It really is. You have to find the real drunk degenerate.
Thumbs up to people and wave and smile.
Especially because you're a Cardinals fan. You're like, people forget that you used to be a division rival, so it doesn't even matter anymore.
No, I get that. Yeah.
The only thing you're gonna get somebody who's like 90, you might want to kick you in the shins because you used to be a rival.
Yes, back from and then that. Yep. But I'd like to say to you, Steve, thank you for having me on, and good luck.
Appreciate it, brother. Appreciate the time. Best of skill. for the game. Get back safe. I guess when we get around the draft time, might want to have you back on, do a little breakdown for
Oh, yeah,
your
it'll be a
team
big
come
draft in
time.
Cardinal history. And thanks again, and Happy New
All
Year.
right, brother. Appreciate it.
Thank you, my
I'm
man.
gonna get ready to log it off right now. So appreciate you hopping on there. And
Anytime, my
again,
friend.
make sure you have some fun down there tomorrow, man. All right, that was our Cardinals fan for today. We're gonna put a wrap on this one. I will be back next week. Hopefully, me and Luther are working on having another one of his former teammates. We already talked to Trey Thomas. Mid December there. We're gonna probably have a few guests on early in January as we turn this over. But again, I think the Eagles are gonna get close to 40 points on this one against this team. We'll see if I'm right. We'll see if I'm wrong. I think all this talk, all the nonsense, all the drama, they're gonna put some points up. But we'll see what happens.